Well, this is something a little bit unusual. Yep, you don't see many of these reviews around. This is a Webley Raider 12 in 177. I'm going to do a review of it coming right up. Right, YouTubers, it's Steve here, aka Catanoni, and welcome to another video. In this channel we do technology reviews as well as air rifles, and today we're looking at the Webley Raider 12. If you start to like this video, and if you haven't subscribed, please smash the like button, subscribe, and don't forget to consider being a Patreon. But anyway, let's move straight on into the video itself. The Webley Scott. Now, you don't see many reviews on Webley Scott in terms of air rifles themselves, and this is the new one from them called the Webley 12. Now, the Webley 10 itself did not get very good reviews at all, so hopefully this will be slightly better. But as you can tell, it is a classic standard PCP rifle in its standard configuration. A carbine version, basically. We have your barrel over the top, which isn't free floating. You can see we've got clips on here. We have the tube underneath, we have the cocking mechanism, and it's a magazine fed rifle, and it is basically your classic, absolute classic PCP. So, what's it like? Well, let's do our usual, and what we'll do is we'll go through the rifle from one end to the other end. We'll talk about the features of the rifle, and then we'll take it outside, we'll have a play with it, and then we'll come back and we'll do the good and the bad reviews like I always do. But before we start, the Webley Raider 12. You can get this in 177 and 22s. I'm not sure if you can get it in 25 at all, and you're looking at about £500 depending on your taxes and where you get it from your country, but £500, $500 for a brand new one of these, so not too bad a price, and sort of certainly near the bottom end of the PCP market in terms of price. But let's have a look at the rifle itself. We'll switch over to this camera on here, and we can see we've got a standard rubberized aerated butt plate on there. Nothing fancy, nothing removable, nothing changeable on here. I'm sure you could change it around if you wanted to, but nice and standard. And then we have a lovely, and I think this is a really sort of almost like a matte finish walnut stock on here. Really, really nice, and it's got good stippling around the actual pistol grip area. It feels okay. It's not brilliant, it's not quality, it hasn't got that sort of nice feel, for example, on the recent video I did with the HW97 Springer, but it's adequate and it works okay. And then if we look underneath, we've got some stippling in here, and this Picatinny attachment is being added by the owner. And thank you to Graham up in Yorkshire who lent me this rifle for a review. But very nice, very nice. And we got a plastic pistol grip trigger guard here, a fully functional two-stage adjustable trigger at the bottom here, a nice bladed trigger, quite crisp. The first stage is not too bad, the second stage a little bit hard out the box, but I'm not going to play around with Graham's rifle and mess around with it. And then if we move across up here, what we've got up the top is we've got standard 11mm dovetail scope mounts on the top on here, but you can also just about make out that there is a Picatinny sort of format going on there as well. It's not a full Picatinny, but I haven't tried it myself, but you might be able to use the Picatinny bars in there to stop creep and stuff like that working. But you know, it's a nice little feature on top of that. It's not too bad at all. You shouldn't have any problems with scopes on here because you've got plenty of space. Obviously, you've got the gap here so that you can put your magazine in, but you could probably get away with most scopes on here with medium height scope rails on that. But yeah, overall, not too bad there. And then if we move down, and you can see that this rifle is incorporating, which seems to be the new fad now, a side lever cocking instead of a bolt. And basically, if we just touch it like so and just flip it, it actually flips straight out on you. Nice and crisp mechanism, and if we fire off like so, we can see that it is quite a loud rifle, even with its built-in shrouded silencer on it as well. So yeah, on the side here we have a nice little safety catch. I do like that. It's nice and crisp. It's not automatic. You can switch it on whenever you want, on or off. So to load the magazine, basically all you do is you pull back on here. We take a magazine, and you get 2 magazines with the rifle. There's your magazine here, and it works on a Ethiopian style magazine loading. We slot the magazine into the rifle like so, click it forward and close the lever up. Now it does have a feature on here that you cannot load an empty magazine, so it stops you basically trying to use the rifle with an empty magazine. And on the magazine, I'll leave some pictures around, but there's a little indexing mark on here that will actually tell you the number of shots you've got remaining, and then when it gets to 0 it won't let you cock it on that. So it's one of those types of features I've seen on Ethiopians as well, but you can still fire the dry shot off if you want to, so without the magazine in. Moving along, what we've got is a shrouded barrel, and it's not a floating barrel. It has actually got a clip on the end of it on here, and at the end we have a screw adapter where you can then fit additional silencers on as you want. But it's a shrouded silencer, moderator, muffler, whatever you want to call it. I always get them mixed up, but it's shrouded, but it's not, like we said, it's not a quiet rifle at all. And those that have watched the videos will know, you know, just comparing the sound, that is fairly loud, and there is quite a twang to it as well. Underneath it we have the barrel, the cylinder itself, and it's a 280cc cylinder. Recommended fill pressure is up to 200 bar, and there's a nice little fill gauge on the end, which I really do wish people would stop doing, the manufacturers. I wish they'd put them somewhere else. I don't like it being up there. And the fill port underneath, you can just twist this around, and I don't know if you'll make this out, but there's a fill port in there that you use your standard brass attachments, which this rifle comes with in the package, and then you can fill it up to 200 bar. But moving around the rifle, that is pretty much it. So if we flip it around the other side and take a look on the other side, you know, obviously this is non-cock and lever side, there's nothing on here, there's no magazine clips or anything. It's literally, you take the rifle itself, you cock it, you slide the magazine in, push it home, and then you fire it off like so. So, pretty standard type of rifle. It's weight-wise, let's take a quick chat about weights and stuff. It's 3.4 kilograms unscoped, so it's not overly heavy. It's balanced just about here. If I'm holding this now, obviously I've got a scope on here, but you know, it's balanced just forward of the trigger. It's not stupidly heavy. You know, I've had some really heavy rifles and reviews and I've slated them, but this one's not too bad at all. And then if we have a look at the length of the rifle, the overall length of the rifle in its standard format is just over 1 meter, and it's got a 53.5 inch barrel in it. Now the actual barrel itself, I've been trying to find out who makes the barrel for the Webley Scots for the Raider 12, and I've not been able to work it out. I don't know if it's their own barrel, if it's imported from elsewhere, I don't know. So if you do know who makes the barrels for these, please let me know. I've tried asking on Facebook, nobody can tell me, and you'll see why I want to know that later on. But overall, quite a nice looking rifle, certainly in the budget end of PCPs, around the 500 mark, but how does it perform out in the field? Well, let's go and have a look, give it a play like we usually do, have a bit of crazy music like I usually do, and then we'll come back and report, and we'll do the pros and the cons on this rifle as well and see what we really think of it. Okay, so we're outside, we've got the Webley Raider 12, we're going to do 14 shots, we're going to use AA Field Sports, and we're going to use Accu Poles as well. 25 metres, camera down range, usual thing, you know, you watch the channel, let's see how we get on. Now for the Accu Poles, it's same test, 14 shots, 25 metres, see how we get on. Right, so we're back inside, and how did we get on? Well, not too bad at all. I'll try to hold these up the right way because I always get comments on this. But basically, here is the Diablo AA Field Sports. Not too bad, all under a penny at 25 meters. I would expect something decent like that. And again, if we take a look at the Accu Poles, you know, the difference there is the variation in me probably not being a great shot. But overall, yes, it's fairly accurate. It's not the most accurate rifle I've ever shot at all. Certainly not on the par with the Cricket, but it's accurate enough. I did push it out to about 40 meters off camera, and then that grouping did start to open up quite a bit on it. But you know, it's certainly accurate enough. And you got to remember the price on it as well. So what else did I think about it? Well, the magazine system, I'll tell you what, I'm going to cut to a scene here that shows you how to load the magazines. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to load these magazines. They're very much like the Ethiopian style magazines, and it's on a spring cover. So basically you turn this cover all the way around till you get back to the first position, keeping your thumb underneath the first hole position. Take your first pellet and drop your first pellet in. If you don't keep your thumb there, it will drop straight through. Now you can release it into the next position. You can now take your thumb away, and then you can just now rotate around the whole magazine, dropping in your 12 or 14 pellets, depending if you're 177 or 22. Nice and simple, drop them in. Can be a little bit fiddly when you've got 177 pellets. Just drop them in, and then eventually, once you've got them all in, you can then you'll be returned back to the original position, and you're ready to go. Does rattle around a little bit, but fairly simple-ish approach to filling magazines up. Okay, so the magazine system, I've seen this magazine system before. I think it might have been in the Ethiopians, but yeah, you have to rotate that all the way around to get to the first one, and then fill it up backwards based on the spring system. I found it stupidly fiddly with 177. Maybe it'll be easier in 22. It's a personal opinion. And I also found that I basically messed it up a couple of times when I was doing the video and I had a half empty magazine and I wanted to fill it back up again. It just caused problems. The no loading of an empty magazine mechanism screwed up on me. And it was probably because I loaded it up the wrong way, but it sort of just, it was annoying, and it just takes a bit of knowing how to do it, especially if you're going to reload up partially filled magazines. But once you get used to it, I'm sure it'll be okay. But I'm not a great fan of that magazine system. But a good thing about the rifle is that they do give you 2 magazines in the actual package with the rifle itself, and it does load fairly crisp, and the cocking on the rifle is nice and crisp, works just beautifully, not too bad at all. The noise. It is a fairly loud rifle, and it is also unregulated, so you do get about 130 to 150 shots depending on who you believe on it. But you know, combine that with the accuracy and the actual noise it makes, you can see why this rifle costs about £500. You know, it's, don't get me wrong, it's a good rifle, it's accurate enough, it's just not what would I call backyard friendly. And you take a shot with this in its standard format without additional silencers on here, people will know you shot it. And yeah, it's not too bad. I'm sure that you could put additional silencers on the end of here and it would be quite nice as well. But yeah, not too bad at all. The safety, I love the safety catch. That is just probably one of the best safety catches I've seen out there at the moment. It's just so simple, so easy to use. It's just in the right place. I do like that. That's pretty good. The looks. For 500 quid, $500, yeah, I think this rifle looks the bee's knees. It does look really nice. I'm not keen on the clip on the end on here. You know, I'd like to have seen a floating barrel with this, but yeah, for £500, not too bad, and it's a very nice walnut stock. But there are some, even on this one, there's some blemishes. I don't know if you can make it out there. So some of the quality control. And talking about quality control, you want to laugh. Take a look at that. That's not how you spell Manuel. Well, it's how you spell Manuel, but not how you spell manual. So yeah, I'm a little bit dubious about, you know, the quality control on some of it. But you know what? Overall, it is a very nice, very handsome looking rifle, and I do like the looks of it as well. I think the biggest plus with this rifle is definitely the price. £500, 500 notes, yeah, you're getting a lot of rifle. It's accurate, okay? I'd say it's a middling of PCPs in the accuracy. It's got the looks, it's got the shot count, it's got the 2 magazine systems on it. It's unregulated. What do you expect for £500? But it is a nice rifle as well, and it's Webley. Everybody loves Webley. Come on, let's be honest with it. What else? Well, the second stage trigger. Now this is just me because I've been shooting with it, and it's not my rifle, so I did not want to mess around with it too much. But the first stage was a very short first stage on it, which was nice, it was crisp. But then the second stage, it just had a twang to it. Maybe it was a bit too hard. Maybe I would have liked to have loosened it off a bit. But just watch out for that one. It's not like, for example, the Cricket or any of the other air rifles that I've shot before, where you just pull that trigger, second stage, and it's just like as if nothing happened, and it's just twing, and off goes the pellet. And it's all quiet, and it's beautiful, and it's crisp, and it's smooth. This isn't. It's not like that. It is literally, let's just go through it, I'll show you. First stage, you get the first stage in, got it, and there's a definite click there, and then there is a definite twang coming out of that a little bit as well. It's not massively bad, and it doesn't really affect too much. It's just, it's not, yeah, okay, it's £500. It's not a £2 rifle, so yeah, it's okay, it's fine. I'm being very, very picky on this. The other thing that if you're a left-hander, watch out with this, because of this lever cannot be moved to the left-hand side. It is a fully ambidextrous stock, which is great, but the actual lever, the cocking lever, is always on the right-hand side. So you're stuck with that, so just watch out for that one as well. And again, a little bit back down to the quality. Why? Plastic trigger guard. Why have you got a plastic trigger guard on here? How much would a little bit of metal cost? I don't know. Maybe they're trying to keep the price down, and they've done a cracking job. £500, they've kept the price down. But it just feels cheap doing that. I don't know why. Even for the sake of a couple of quid, I don't really know. So, what do I think of it? What do I think of the Webley Raider 12? Well, you know what? For 500 quid, and you want a PCP, yeah, it's not bad. It's certainly good enough for backyard plinking out to 30-40 metres or so. You're not going to be winning any competitions with this. You're certainly, and you're not going to be taking those super long range shots with the confidence that you know you're going to hit that rabbit, that pigeon smack on the head every single time. But for the price, the looks, the money, yeah, it's not a bad rifle at all. Just be prepared that it is a little bit loud. The magazine system, it takes a little bit of getting used to on it, but yeah, for £500 I can certainly see why it was made, why they made it how they did. They've certainly hit the right part of the market for the price on it as well. So yeah, I'm quite impressed with it. You know, it's one of those, would I go and buy one myself? You know what, if I had lots of money and I just wanted a collection of rifles, yes I would, because it's a nice looking rifle. Would I pick one over anything else? Personally, probably not. I'd probably go with something like the S410 or the 510 or something like that. But yeah, it's a nice rifle. It's quite a nice rifle on there. So anyway, I've been Catanonia. Hopefully you've liked this video review of the Webley 12. As always, smash the like button, give me the thumbs up. If you haven't already, subscribe, and we'll see you on the next video. Goodbye.